Hi guys, it's Sandy with Trinity Stamps. Thank you so much for stopping by our YouTube channel today. I've been having so much fun with this month's new release, the A2 box card die, along with the Gashapon machine add-on die, and they even have a arcade machine die that works with the A2 box card die set also. Today I am going to be using the box card die set along with the Gachapon machine add-on and the new Struffies stamp set along with the coordinating dies. To start this card, I used the Starfield letterpress along with some silver glimmer foil on my cardstock. I have foiled both sides of the cardstock. I was thinking that I would use the stars for the background on the inside of the box, but as you will see later, I changed my mind, which is something I do quite a bit when I'm creating a card. All right, you're going to need to use two of these pieces. On the first piece that I cut out, I used the die with both windows attached with temporary tape. On the second piece, I removed the center window and left in the side window. I goofed the first time I cut these out and left both windows in, but that makes your machine completely see-through. And while that might work for another card, it wasn't going to work for this card. Anyway, I am using temporary tape to hold those pieces together as I run them through the machine. There is another die in the A2 box card die set that cuts out a piece that goes inside the box for you to attach the little elements on to create the 3D effect. I will pretty much refer to that as a tab or the bridge in this card. So I'm going to cut out two of them from the scrap cardstock. One will go at the top of the window opening and the other one will go directly under the window a little bit later in this video. The die puts two score lines on the piece. One is about 1/8 of an inch from the outside edge, which will be the tab that will connect the two pieces together. And the other score line is to create the corner of the box. I have found that the best way to make a sharp and precise corner is to gently fold it towards me to break down those fibers first, and then to fold it in the direction that it's meant to go. I also use a really thin metal ruler next to the score line to help me with the initial fold. Once I have it folded where I want it, I will give it a nice good press with my bone folder. I'm going to do that on both pieces. Next, I'm going to take a really thin double-sided adhesive, which I think is just about 1/8 of an inch, and put it on the little tab piece. And then I'm also going to put it on the right and left side of the window openings. For the top and the bottom of the window openings, I'm going to use a wider tape. It's about 1/4 of an inch wide. And I'm doing this just to give that acetate that's going to be put in that window just a little bit more stick and support. I'm going to cover my window openings with a little bit of acetate. So I'm going to cut the two side window pieces it's about 1 7/8 by 3.5 inches long. And then the piece for the center window is 3 inches by 3.5 inches long. Once the protective tape is peeled off, I'm going to place the acetate in the openings. It is super important that you make sure that the acetate isn't preventing the card from folding at the fold lines. So you might need to do a little bit of trimming, especially on those the tiny windows on the side, just to make sure that that card is going to fold when you go to collapse it. The inside tab pieces also have score lines at each end. I'm going to go ahead and fold those, and then I'm going to place adhesive tape on both of those ends. Now I'm going to adhere the tab to the window side of the box piece. I'm going to place the edge of the tab up to the fold line. Don't go over the fold line or you won't be able to fold the card. This piece kind of makes the bridge that'll go across the inside of the card. For right now, I am just attaching the one side of each tab to the card for now, and we'll leave that other one just open. Now we get to start decorating the outside of the A2 box card with the pieces that come with the Gashapon machine die set. Okay, so this video doesn't go on until dinner time. I have already cut out the pieces. I have a couple of tips. First, I apply a double-sided adhesive to the back of the cardstock that I'm going to use. Trinity Stamps has what they call rip and stick sheets that work really well for this. Some of these pieces are so small that it is so hard to glue them in place without making a mess, even if you're using tweezers, that this really helps you get those placed exactly where you need to them in the neatest way possible. Second, I use a piece of heat-resistant Teflon to place my little pieces on once I have removed the protective backing from the tape. This works really well to keep track of all of those pieces, especially when you're using the same die to cut out several different colors of cardstock. I'm going to start trimming out my windows. First, I'm going to use the frame that comes with the Gashapon die set. And then the little skinny pieces are from the window pieces that come on the A2 box card die set. I am also going to attach the little gaming panel at the bottom of that center window. To make the light bar without cutting all those little circles and then trying to evenly space them on the bar, I'm going to let the die do the work for me. I'm going to use the die with all the little circles to cut out a piece of red cardstock first. Then I will place the bar die over the red cardstock where I've cut out the circles, tape it down, and run that through my die cut machine. This cuts the top layer of that light bar. And then I'm going to use that same bar die to cut out the piece of the gold cardstock. This is going to be the base of the light bar. Once that is cut, I will place the red piece on top of the orange piece, and voila, they are perfectly spaced. Here I'm building my awning that's going to go on the top of my machine. I cut the little blue piece from scrap cardstock so it doesn't have any of the adhesive on the back. And now you can see how difficult it is to get that piece adhered on the top of that awning. It makes it so much easier, guys, if you use the adhesive tape on the back of these pieces. It's a game changer. Now that my awning is built, I'm going to place it at the top of the machine. I am going to use liquid glue on the top of the adhesive to give a little bit of a barrier so that I can get that placed exactly where I want it before I press it down. Now I'm going to start working on the bottom of my machine. I have used the 8-bit birthday stamp set to stamp the word push on the little prize door and the 25-cent wording on the coin slot piece. The little 25-cent stamp just cracks me up. It's such a little thing, but it adds so much to the design of the card. As my friend Carrie always says, the love is in the details. I am also going to add that little strip at the very bottom of the instrument panel. Another little detail is that the coin slot die cut actually has a little slice in it that's for where the coin is inserted. So I'm going to cut out another coin slot from black cardstock, and then I'm going to use my pickup stick tool to pick out that little teeny slice and stick it in that slot opening. To create the little play button, I'm using the little die to cut out a piece of black cardstock, also a piece of red cardstock. The black piece is going to be the base of the die, so that's the biggest piece. And then the two little red pieces create the actual button. Again, I'm using my pickup stick tool to help me get those pieces picked up off of my Teflon sheet and placed on my actual card front. Onto the joystick. I cut out the outline from black cardstock. Then I use the small die that cuts out the actual little pieces that fit on that outline from gold, green, and red cardstock. Again, I am using some liquid glue to help me get those placed just right. To place a sentiment on this card, I cut a piece of white cardstock to 2 3/4 by 5 1/4, and I used the sentiment from the Struffies stamp set and a couple of friends to decorate that piece. I'm going to use liquid glue to center it on the back of the card. This is a perfect area for the sender to write a personal message or sign the back of the card. I also glued a piece of blue glitter paper on the other side of the piece that is going to be the background in my little game machine. The glitter piece is cut at 3 inches by 3.5 inches. I have colored all of my little stuffies off camera again so that we're not spending dinner together. I have stamped them and cut them using the Stuffy stamp set and the coordinating dies. I colored them with Copic markers. I stamped and cut 3 of each one of the little stuffies because I wasn't too sure how many I was going to need. It's always better to have more than less. But then again, I'm kind of a more is more girl. I'm going to start with the little stuffy that has been caught by the claw. First, I'm going to build my claw and then attach it to my dino. Next, I will determine exactly where I want that claw mechanism to be on the upper tab and attach the rectangle shape and the hose. I am also attaching a thin piece of acetate to that tab to give extra support to the claw that holds the dino. I'll glue the acetate and move on to the pile of stuffies. Off camera, I've attached some stuffies at the bottom of the window, making sure not to get any glue on the acetate. I have also built a stack of stuffies from all my little friends, concentrating the height of the stack over to the right side so that it doesn't cause a problem with the dino that's hanging in the claw. I will also attach that pile of stuffies to the bottom tab, making sure that I don't impede the closing of the card. Since I had some stuffies left over, I also glued those at the bottom of the box and around on the sides. Now to close up the box. I'm going to remove the tape on the one piece that has just the one window. I'm going to run a thin bead of glue on that piece of tape. Then I'm going to line up the top and bottom and butt the piece right up to the fold and give it a good press. Next, I'm going to turn it over so that I'm seeing the inside of the box, and I'm going to line up the other end of the tab pieces at the fold that forms the box corner. I'm going to remove the protective piece of tape on both tab pieces and fold that back piece over so that it catches the back of the box and creates a bridge all the way across. And then I'm going to give it a really good firm press, especially up on that piece that's got the glitter cardstock. To completely close the box, I'm going to run another bead of glue along the tape once I remove that protective piece again and press the edges together. I need to apply a little more pressure where the glitter cardstock is on the background because for some reason glitter doesn't like to play well with the glue sometimes. As you can see, now I have a box. There are 2 bridges on the inside and the box collapses, which means you're going to be able to put it in an envelope to mail. How cool is this card? Thanks again for spending a little bit of time with me today. I hope that you have found this video helpful in constructing your own A2 card box. We have a bunch of really talented designers over at Trinity Stamps. I hope you'll kind of look around the channel and find some other videos and be inspired by some of their work also. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, and I hope you have an amazing day. Until next time, bye-bye.